Hi, this is JS with Movie Clips. We're here with a movie review for Into Them Bodies Saints. The opening title card for David Lowery's films begins by saying, "This was in Texas." And what we have at the start is Ruth and Bob. They're in a field. She seems to be fleeing and he's begging her to stay. They're played by Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, respectively. And what we have here is star-crossed lovers from the forefront, but they seem to already be at odds with each other. They have different desires in mind. Into Them Bodies Saints is essentially a Bonnie and Clyde story, but instead of going to the end where they have that tragic end, they're stopped by the law before something like that can happen. Bob is brought to prison while Ruth remains on the outside, and years pass, after which he learns that he has a daughter through Ruth. This becomes the catalyst for Bob's escape from prison so he can reunite with his young family. When a lot of us here at Movie Clips first saw the trailer for Into Them Bodies Saints, we instantly thought, oh, this is Terrence Malick. We have these long, beautiful shots of the wilderness, the flowing wheat in the field. We even get some of Casey Affleck's voiceover. But the film itself is actually very much its own style. While it does have some of those semantics, David Lowery and his cinematographer have definitely brought their own approach to capturing this story. I also found myself thinking of Andrew Dominik's The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Casey Affleck played Ford in that film, and he's very much conjuring that same spirit. He has the same mannerisms, the same tone and everything. And so for me, it wasn't an entirely original character, you could say. Rooney Mara, on the other hand, has recently risen as a Hollywood angel of sorts, and here she is delivering yet another knockout performance. Scenes between Ruth and her daughter show that innocence can be rekindled even after it's lost, and that over time, forgiveness is possible. Ben Foster is another amazing addition to the cast. Here he plays police officer Patrick Wheeler, who was directly involved in the incident that landed Bob in jail to begin with. But he seems to move in from the fringe and approaching Ruth as a very kindly, helpful individual. In fact, he is such a likable character because he does seem so good-hearted that I couldn't help but fall under his spell as well. Into Them Bodies Saints was incredibly well received at Sundance Film Festival. It was in competition for the Grand Jury Prize, and cinematographer Bradford Young actually took home Best Cinematography of the fest. And he does definitely lend a stark beauty to these dark interiors, as well as those landscape shots I talked about. From the film's opening scene, it's evident that Lowery and Young have their aesthetic agenda in place. Though I would say this film can't quite make up its mind, maybe because the lead characters can't make up their mind. I know that after Sundance, this film received some additional cutting, which isn't unheard of, but it's hard to say if they truly understand what the vision of Into Them Bodies Saints is. On the Movie Clips rating scale, Into Them Bodies Saints gets a 68 out of 100. There's some incredible performances to be found here. Casey Affleck didn't entirely work for me, and the aesthetic decisions, while mostly admirable, sometimes got in the way of what we were trying to watch. I would say that Into Them Bodies Saints is certainly worth your time if you enjoy the films of Terrence Malick and Andrew Dominik, but this is definitely not one for general audiences. This is JS with Movie Clips. We'll see you next time.